Like FDR's New Deal, Biden's tax and spend policies have been an economic wrecking ball. And that's the argument I've been making for a while. He's the reason why inflation is so bad. He's the reason for inflation because of the government spending and creating of new dollars and floating it in the market. This is why the economy is the way it is. It's because of Joe Biden, and there's going to be a reckoning coming in the midterms. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. When you click that alarm bell, change it. You can change it from personal to all. That way you get all the notifications from when I put it out stuff because I put it out sporadically. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. And there's also a link to my Instagram where I put out tons of news throughout the day to keep you informed. So check that out as well. All right, let's talk about this news. The economic gaslighting coming out of Washington is astonishing, even by DC standards. I mean, it is crazy. They're like, don't believe your wallet, don't believe your pockets, don't believe the price of gas, don't believe any of that stuff. Listen to what I'm saying. Everything is fine, everything is great. I think what did he say? Is only up a smidget or something like that. Some crazy thing that Biden said. It's crazy how they just try to ignore numbers. Former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe recently praised the Biden administration for its handling of the economy, ignoring failures on inflation, boondoggle spending, and energy taxes. McAuliffe even compared fellow Democrat President Joe Biden's failed American Rescue Plan to former President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. The unprecedented interventions of the New Deal included wage and price controls, so-called jobs programs, and a tripling of taxes to fund bloated government budgets. Far from ending the Great Depression, the New Deal prolonged it and created several bouts of inflation in the 1930s. You know, you hear about the Hoovervilles and all of that stuff, and Roosevelt. I mean, it was just a mess. I don't know why I brought up Hoovervilles, but when I hear about the Great Depression, that's what I think about. Well, McCullough's comparison of Biden to FDR is right. However, though for the wrong reason, both presidents initiated massive interventions in the economy, and neither improved economic outcomes. Far from any accomplishment, handling the economy like FDR is a sign of failure. I don't know why he can't see that. The numbers prove Biden's policies have made people's lives and livelihoods worse. Massive federal deficits funded by the Federal Reserve have caused skyrocketing inflation under Biden, who took office when inflation was only 1.4% and real wages was rising. In just 18 months, Biden managed to push inflation to over 9%, and prices were rising nearly as fast in a single month as they did an entire year before Biden took office. So you can't say, "Oh, this is coming in from because of President Trump." You can't blame President Trump because none of this stuff started happening until you got in the office, and when it happened, it just happened. It was kind of like overnight. The prices that businesses pay have risen even faster than prices for consumers. This wholesale inflation hit 13 new record highs under Biden and has been stuck in double digits for more than a third of Biden's presidency. Inflation has not gotten better under Biden, but far worse. It has not been this bad in more than 40 years. And you got people from The View and all that caping for this guy. I don't understand how can you defend the economy and defend his policies when everything is, I mean, everyone can clearly see how worse off we are. The idea that Biden's agenda somehow saved a stalled economy is also fallacious. Biden inherited an economy growing at 1.5 trillion annualized rate. In only a year, the administration policies have caused the economy to shrink, contracting in the first 6 months of this year. The slowdown has not been limited to economic growth either. The labor market was in a robust recovery when Biden took office, but shortly thereafter, the American Rescue Plan was rammed through Congress. Job growth slowed dramatically in the wake of the excess spending, with average monthly job gains being cut in half. The recovery under President Donald Trump added more jobs in less time than under Biden. The nationwide impacts of Biden's economic agenda have clearly been negative, but the individual impacts have been devastating for the average American. The average worker has seen prices rise so much faster than wages that it has been the equivalent of a 5.5% pay cut since Biden took office. Imagine that. You just, for no reason, your job stayed the same, you continue to do the same work, but imagine losing 5.5% for something that you had nothing to do with, unless you voted for Biden. If you voted for him, then it's partially your fault. That may not sound like much, but it adds up to more than $3,000 a year in lost income. $3,000 gone. To add insult to injury, interest rates are rising fast, and that increases borrowing costs on everything from credit cards to mortgages. So you're not getting more bang for your buck if you're buying a house right now. On average, higher rates today compared with when Biden became president are costing an average of $1,200 per year. For a typical family with both parents working and both earning the average income, they are effectively $7,200 poorer than 21 months ago. So who you vote for matters. Instead of listening to rhetoric, look into their policies. Because the people that voted for Biden, you guys are the ones that did this. Many people are even worse off than the average. Consider the mortgage on a median price home. The mortgage has gotten 80% more expensive since Biden took office, costing an additional $10,000 a year and an additional $300,000 over the course of the loan. Because the average cost of the average house, people hold on to for 30 years. So that's why it's be $300,000. Crazy. It's no wonder that the home ownership affordability has plummeted more than 35% under Biden. Even those with savings instead of debt have gotten crushed under the weight of Biden's policies. The average 401k has lost $34,000 this year, or about 25%. Those nearing retirement are faced with the stark reality that they cannot retire anytime soon. It's disheartening, really. Far from saving the economy, the Biden administration policies have demonstrably slowed the recovery and then pushed it in reverse. The economy was returning to pre-pandemic levels at an accelerated pace before Biden's American Rescue Plan was passed, but then it slowed considerably. The Biden administration was not handed an economic mess, but created one. It did not save the economy, but sent it into a stall. It has not made people's lives better, but made them demonstrably worse. The numbers prove it, but you still have pundits and hacks and people like The View trying to say the opposite, when in reality, everyone really knows who's at fault with the economy, but the people on the left and are afraid to admit it. It's because of Biden. But let me know what you think. Leave comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, and check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.